My name is Sihle Sibisi and I am the founder of Kwanele Foundation.
So, you're all here, young, passionate, driven. What are you here for? What are you doing at the Summit? What brings you here? What's your story, Sihle?
Wait, what's the question? What's my story or what brings me here?
Both.
Sure.
Can we start with what's our story?
What's your story? Let's start
Yeah,
with what's
because
your
now I'm
story.
like,
Okay, what's your story?
what's the story?
Yes, what's your story?
Oh, do I talk?
Yes,
Oh,
it's recording.
what's
Yeah.
my story?
Yes.
Okay.
You were warned.
Sihle Sibisi, as I said, I am the founder of Kwanele Foundation. Kwanele Foundation is birthed from my painful experiences, my journey in life. Within Kwanele Foundation, we have four main offices that we focus on. The first office that we focus on is called Kwanele Mfundisi. Now, I need to explain that Kwanele stands for enough. It means enough. Kwanele is a Zulu word meaning enough. So Kwanele Mfundisi is an office that advocates and stands against the abuse of women, men, and children at the hands of pastors, churches, and the religious sector. Mfundisi stands for pastor, but holistically covers the religious sector. Now, through our lawyers and our psychologists, we are able to bring forth restoration and rehabilitation to victims of GBVF at the hands of the pastors, churches, and religious sector. Now, the reason why we have this office is because I myself, Sihle Sibisi, was a victim of gender-based violence at the hands of pastors, churches, and the religious sector. At the age of 16, I was given away to the church by my parents. This was a church in South Africa, but it was owned and run by a man from Zambia, obviously a country that is not in South Africa, a foreign country. And he came to South Africa, opened the church, and a group of girls were selected to go and stay there, and I was one of the girls who stayed at the church in his mission house. And as a 16-year-old, I was exposed to things that a 16-year-old girl was not supposed to, and subsequently I was then human trafficked or taken to Nigeria, and it was the same modus operandi. Now people will say, how did you end up in Nigeria? But remember how these pastors work. To be a pastor will have a spiritual father, and spiritual father will be introduced slowly to the churches. And remember, being close to the man of God is a status quo. So it was easy for me to be given to the church. It was easy for me to be taken to Nigeria because I was seen as the special girl of the church. But it was the same modus operandi. As a result, I was victimized, raped, abused holistically in South Africa and Nigeria holistically. So that is why within the foundation we have an office called Kwanele Mfundisi, which advocates and stands against the abuse of men, women, and children at the hands of pastors, churches, and the religious sector, be it financially, physically, emotionally, holistically. Because I had to turn around and say, surely I'm not the only person who has gone through this pain at the hands of pastors, churches, and the religious sector. The second office we have is called Kwanele In-Laws. Remember, Kwanele means enough. In-laws. I, Sihle Sibisi, was married, was widowed, and when I lost my spouse, I was abused emotionally by my sister-in-laws, my in-laws holistically, friends and families I lost, as people had decided to know my life better than me. I was disinherited of things that I was supposed to inherit from the death of my spouse. And so through the office of Kwanele In-Laws, through our lawyers and psychologists, we bring forth the restoration and rehabilitation of being able to help widows and widowers legally so that they're not disinherited, and psychologically to the families. So yet again, this office is an experience that I've been through. Then the last two offices, it's Kwanele Nsizwa and Kwanele Ntombo. Remember, Kwanele means enough. Nsizwa stands for the boy child and the man. Ntombo stands for the girl child and the woman. So when we say Kwanele Nsizwa, Kwanele Ntombo, I am an educator by profession, and we then decided from the foundation to say we're going to start having gender-based violence and femicide dialogues within the school, within the classroom, from as early as the early childhood development stages. Because one thing we've realized is that most of the time we turn a blind eye to bullying, body shaming, teasing that is happening within the classroom. And these are all the roots that start this journey of gender-based violence.